The new album, it's called Here Come the Aliens.
Yeah. It's all Hertfordshire's fault.
I know, everyone's been talking about this. You had a close encounter.
So no, everyone will say, oh yeah, you were on the Wine King, blah, blah, blah. So actually, no, I wasn't. I was actually, if you remember, 2009 was when swine flu was everywhere. And we were really worried with, our son Harry was quite young at the time and looked like he probably had it. It actually ended up having it, but that's another story. And we took him to A&E. So we were there all night till about 10:30, but it was still light because it was in June. So it was still dusk, very light, and we saw these lights in the sky when I got back. So I hadn't been out at home all night on the Pinot Grigio. I'd actually been, just at the local A&E doing an amazing job like they always do at Lister. Anyway, so there I was, sitting in the garden, looking up into a Hertfordshire sky, and actually, you know what happened first, Graham, was that some helicopters came over from a direction they never come in, and quite low, and in a way they never normally do, with a bright light surrounding them. And I just presumed they were on the run, looking for a wrong 'un. Right, I thought.
So you thought it was the cops?
I thought it was the cops, I thought that's what it was. So I was sat in the garden waiting for some wrong 'un to come running up the garden, and then they disappeared, and it was completely silent, dusk, still a bit of sun at the back of into the west, and a bit of low cloud into the direction I was looking, and that's when I saw the light, and I saw the light literally. And I was with a mate of mine and my husband, and we walked down to look at it, and then it started doing this really astonishing stuff where, because I couldn't see it, I could just see the light it was making through low cloud, and then it went from.
So what did it look like? What shape was it?
It was a circular light. It was a glowing light like you would see if you saw the sun through cloud or a moon through cloud, except that it suddenly started moving really rapidly, like with a blink of an eye, from say about an 11 o'clock position to about a 2, and then back to 11, then back to 2, then back to 11. Then a smaller one started following it. So then it was started being like two somethings were doing something with bright lights up in the sky. I could definitely see it wasn't anything coming from Nebworth House. 'Cause I thought maybe they were having a bit of a party and getting the lights out. But I knew it wasn't them. I checked up to make sure there was an event that night. There wasn't. Just because I was so completely flabbergasted by what I saw. But I did meet people locally who saw also something, actually saw it, in fact. I didn't see it, I saw the light it made, but I did meet people who saw something very strange that night. That was in 2009, the 26th of June, by the way. Anyone out there who's saying, yeah, I was there, I saw that kid, I saw it.
So you're convinced it was aliens?
I'm convinced it was aliens. I'm convinced that they've been visiting this planet for many, many thousands upon thousands of years, that they're probably resident in some part of our planet or have been at some point, or are. I don't know. I haven't been in contact with them, so I haven't got a clue what they're thinking. I don't have any special insight into their psyche, but I know what I saw. And I also felt whatever was up in the sky was massive. So I'm not talking like a little, I don't know, Chinese lantern. Or
what are we talking like? When you say massive, are we talking the size of a car or the size of a building?
A building, or bigger. Yeah, it was massive. Whatever it was up there was massive.
Yeah,
I could feel almost the air being displaced around me when I was standing on the grass. And I said that to my friend at the time. I said, try and think of a word before this stops. Think of a word to help describe this. And we both said momentum, because at the moment it moved from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, we felt the whole place move. It was like it displaced all the air. It was massive, yeah. Ha ha! Hertfordshire, good old Hertfordshire. So as a result, I went off and, totally stunned, and I've ended up making an album called Here Come the Aliens.
Because that's a line in one of the songs, isn't it?
It is. The first song, 1969, I talk about my astonishment of being an 8-year-old watching Man Land on the Moon. And I remember it vividly, sitting on the sofa, watching the black and white TV, and seeing Man land on the moon and being completely blown away. I'd only known about the man in the moon from my fairy tale books up to that point. So seeing a human being on the moon, I never really recovered from that. And then, of course, the aliens turned up in 2009. And so the song was born, 1969.
I got to say, I love the cover.
Thank you.
love the cover. It looks you're on it, and you look like a horrified B-movie victim in the poster for a B-movie.
That's right.
What was the inspiration? That was it, was it?
That's what we wanted to do, yeah. I spoke to, Scarlett, my niece, did it, actually.
Yeah.
And she's been studying art for the last few years. I mean, she's a sort of a slightly more mature student. She's in her late 20s and discovered she had a talent for drawing. And she's been studying art in Australia for the last few years. And I thought, you're an artist, you're in the family, but why don't you do it? And it was only after, as I was walking away, thinking, oh God, what if it's horrible? What if I don't like it? What am I going to say? What am I going to say to my own niece? Like, oh, actually, it's not really nice, is it? But anyway, I thought, I'm sure she'll do a great job. I knew she had a lot of talent, and wow, she really smashed it.
It looks great.
She smashed it. She's done an incredible job. The artwork on the booklet on the inside of the CD is also extra and astonishing. And then she's done even more artwork for the Candy Crush project. And she's just you can't stop her. And she's on tour with me. So, she's just on fire.
It really is a family affair. Ricky's on tour with you as usual.
Of course, yeah. I mean, he wrote and co-wrote and produced, and it's the whole album. And he's the MD of the band, and he is he plays anything. He's a musical genius. I'm not overstating it there. He really is quite exceptionally talented. And I've always known it, and a lot of people have always known it, but now the whole world really knows about it, especially that beautiful voice of his in Pop Don't Stop.
Yeah, which was the first single from the album, wasn't it?
Yeah. Pop Don't Stop, the first single, and Ricky's singing on it, and what a lovely voice he has.
The current single's called Candy Crush.
Candy Crush.
Tell me about that one.
I went over to, Sweden is the sort of home of pop music, really, and I decided to go over there and do some songwriting with some brilliant writers. And I'd written with them before. We came up with Candy Crush. I wanted to write a song that was a bit like a Billy Idol song. I thought, I want to write this sort of song that he might sing. And
it's got that 80s vibe, that early 80s vibe to it, though.
And it's very rocky as well.
Yeah. And it's very rocky.
And it's got a lot of attitude. And in fact, on the album version, it's got 3 guitar solos, which, you can never have enough. Never have enough. And, and it's come out sounding great. Yeah. It's, I noticed when I was on tour, I tour a lot with my band, and a lot of them do play that game a lot. Candy Crush.
Okay, on the phones, yeah.
I don't play games on phones.
Right.
I don't much care for phones. I don't mind Twitter, though. I like Twitter. That's fun. The head of Candy Crush just got in touch with me. And he loves the song, and he wants to meet me, and it's a hilarious turn of events. God knows what's going to end up now.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, that could turn into something like a marketing campaign or something. You just never know.
You never know.
There could be money there.
Yeah, I'm kind of like thinking, wow, where's this going to take us? But I love the song. It's one of the rockiest songs on the album.
And this is the first album of new stuff for, 20 years?
Well, you know what? I have recorded a few albums over in Germany, of which I'm really proud. So there's a few that came out sort of in the mid-2000s and somethings. And I work a lot from out of Germany, and I ended up having a big hit over there with Nena of 99 Red Balloons fame, which actually went to #1 virtually all over Europe. So I did do more recording over there. It's sort of in the same vein as Here Come the Aliens, really.
Yeah.
But just not quite as accomplished as this album. This album's been a lot longer in the making. It started in 2014. I wrote 1969. Several years after the UFO sighting. So I wrote it in 2014, and we've been writing ever since 2014 till just recently when we put the album together.
Right, because the last one we probably know you for is the Christmas one.
The last one would be the Christmas one, yeah.
Yeah, because we were playing that on in a run up to that. What was 20? Was it 2014? Have I got the year right then?
I think it was. Ooh,
yeah, because it was after the. Well, it was a couple of years after you'd been filmed on the train.
That's the one. That inspired me to get my act together and celebrate Christmas in a slightly altogether more respectable way.
You would tell us about that. Now this is 2012. Somebody videos you on the train singing. You become a YouTube sensation. I think it's over 2.5 million hits now.
Yep.
So you were coming, you were leaving a party. You were with Ricky.
Yeah. And then we did the party, and there were free cocktails flying around, and then I nicked somebody's antlers, and then we ended up at King's Cross. I don't remember much after that. I do remember, I don't even know how we got on the train.
So this is the train from King's Cross to Nebworth, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Rick was about to put his guitar away, and I said, "Come on, Rick, it's Christmas. Let's sing some Christmas songs." And I remember him looking at me saying, "You sure?" And I said, "Come on." I said, "When are we ever going to be out on the lash and have a guitar with us and it be Christmas?" I said, "Come on, the stars have lined up. The planets have lined up where it's meant to be." Meant to be. So out he gets his guitar. We start singing these Christmas songs. In my sort of over-refreshed state, I just assumed everyone would join in.
It took a little while to get them going, didn't it? There was
Hardly anyone joined in.
At one stage, there's a lady going, "It's actually her."
Yeah.
See, up until then, they just thought it was some woman on a train, a crazy lady on a train, and then no, it's Kim Wilde singing "Kids in America." It's not, and then you did. What was the Christmas one?
Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree.
Rockin' Around Christmas Tree, which is the one you'd done with Mel Smith for Comic Relief.
It got filmed by this really sweet lady and called Casey Eames, and we actually got to know her after, and she was very sweet and phoned us up and said, "Do you mind if I put this on YouTube?"
Oh, that's nice.
So, but I think she's done quite well out of it.
Has she?
I think she has. And then we did a new version of Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree for my Christmas album, Wilde Winter Songbook. And we invited her onto our video. So,
oh, lovely.
So she turned up on our video, and we were filming her, filming us. So it was quite fun. It's a nice little twist there. But yeah, actually, right after the sort of drunken episode, when Ricky and I decided that sitting down was a better idea than falling over, we met this gorgeous family who were coming back from Winter Wonderland, and we ended up singing Little Donkey with the kids. And we did try 12 Days of Christmas, but then we got really confused after about 11.
Right, okay. Yeah.
You want to try. I mean, it's a confusing song
There's loads
to
of
sing
leaping,
when you're sober, when you're over refreshed. The 12 Days of Christmas is very, very tricky.
Now, do you still drink?
I don't.
Is it because of that incident?
Maybe partly. I mean, I'm not sure. I've been thinking about stopping drinking for a long time. All the coolest people in rock and roll don't drink. Mm-hmm. I did a tour with Alice Cooper. He didn't drink. He's cool. And a lot of the rockers have had to stop their drinking ways.
Yeah.
And I was I like to have a drink, but I did have to think about, maybe carrying on like getting drunk sometimes isn't such a good idea.
Was there a particular incident or anything like that? I asked that question because I don't drink anymore. I packed, 1998, and it was because I was just doing breakfast radio, and there was a day I needed to get more work done, and so instead of having a sleep in the day, I didn't have a sleep, so I didn't have a drink because I'd have a drink with lunch.
Yeah.
And then I stopped, and I thought, wow, I got loads done today, and then I thought, oh, I can't remember the last time I went a day without a drink, so I'll see if I can go a week. And I did a week and felt great. And But whenever you tell someone you don't drink, they all think, oh, there must have been an incident.
No. Well, what happened was I did Stoptober.
Did you?
And I felt really good.
This last great. October just gone.
Last October gone.
It's weird how great you feel, isn't it? And how you can just do more stuff, and you've got more time to do stuff, and you feel good all day. And
exactly.
Yeah.
So I did that. Felt great. Physically felt a lot better, and dropped some weight.
Right, yeah.
Don't mind that. And I thought, you know what? This is really good. I'll keep it. I know I'll have a few drinks at Christmas, and I'll really enjoy those. And then I got to Christmas, and I really wasn't in the mood for it. And so now we are in March, and some of my drinking buddies say, "Oh, you're so boring, Kim. You're so boring." And actually, there's nothing boring about this at all. It's just the best I've felt, and I've got so much done. And certainly when I knew the tour was coming up in April, I thought it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And I feel so much better. If anyone's thinking about it out there, do it. It's so cool.
Yeah, and as you said, a lot of cool people. People like Frank Skinner, and just not just rock and rollers, but really cool people.
People who want to get stuff done.
Yeah.
Drinking doesn't help. It's people who want to get stuff done.
Yeah.
I got a lot of stuff I want to get done.
Well, you've done a lot of stuff, though. I mean, you're an award-winning gardener, a best-selling author. I mean, at one time, you kind of, when you got into the gardening, you turned your back on show business, didn't you? A little bit.
I did, totally. Not a little bit.
Oh, really? The gardening was all consuming then?
Yeah, no. It was when I met my husband. Within a very short period of time, I just stepped massively out of the business that was in, the music business. I dyed my hair brown when I was having our daughter Rose.
Change your name?
I changed my name to Fowler, which is an anagram of flower, and I kind of waltzed off to the horticultural college in Enfield, Capel Manor, and I just had an open mind about life. I loved having a blank canvas. I loved not being Kim Wilde. I loved the idea that I wasn't going to have to travel around singing Kids in America anymore. I'd done that since I was 20. I was 36. I was so over Kim Wilde, massively, really bored, and I wasn't having any fun. And then I met my husband, and we started to have a lot of fun. And
where'd you meet him, by the way?
I met him in the musical Tommy in the West End, which was a decision I made to try as a sort of a halfway house out of the music business and into somewhere else that wasn't the music business. And although I was singing rock and roll songs every night for a year, there's the music business world is very different to the theatre world. And so it was a proper halfway house for me. And within 6 months, I'd met and married Hal. And now Hal's
your co-star who was in the show, yeah?
He was a co-star in the show, but he was Cousin Kevin and I was Mrs. Walker. And now, nearly 22 years later, we have a 20-year-old son, Harry, who's a musician, beautiful guitarist. And our daughter, Rose, who's 18, she's a singer-songwriter. And Hal is very involved locally. He's chair at Waste Not Want Not, the recycled plant volunteer community project down at the Roebuck. He's massively involved with that. We're growing plants for them all the time, growing plants with them, working with the people there, and having a really, really lovely time there.
And the kids, what did they think about Mum going back on the road at your age?
Oh, you know what? I played the album to my daughter. Do you know what? I wasn't actually able to listen to my album properly until download day, which was when it was released.
Really?
Because I've been sent mixes on various emails and various attachments. You know how finicky all that stuff is. And trying to put them all in one place and listen to them. I mean, it's beyond me on a technical level. Right. And so I actually hadn't got had an opportunity to listen to my album properly, in the running order as it is, until it was available for everybody else. So I actually got to hear my album the first time that everybody else did. And so I played it to my daughter a week or so ago when she was in the car. She just loves it. She goes, "Mum, they're bangers, Mum, bangers."
Well, that's a good result.
I think bangers is a good word.
Yes. Yes. Use it as on the slogan for the album. They're bangers, Mum.
Yeah.
Here come the aliens, Kim Wilde. It should all be part of the marketing campaign. Yeah. And what about your son, though? Because he's more of a rocker, isn't he?
He's a rocker, yeah.
Well, what does he think of pop, then?
I think he's a bit sniffy about pop music at the moment. Although I think he's coming round. I do. I think he's coming around. Actually, I've got no worries about Harry Fowler because he loves Joni Mitchell. And any 20-year-old that loves Joni Mitchell is okay, isn't it? It's everything. The world is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
All is right with the world.
It's like the next generation then of the Wildes, isn't it? Because how much help was it for you that your dad was Marty Wilde?
Well, in many ways, massively, because, of course, I grew up listening to incredible music because he was Marty Wilde. He was singing at home and writing songs all the time, playing guitar in the living room all the time. It was as natural as getting up and having your cornflakes and a cup of tea to see Dad sitting there writing songs and and making music the centre of our universe, really. So some families have sport, some families have religion. We had rock and roll. And so he would always go out. He'd be buying loads of vinyl. He'd bring back the best records. He got us sat down listening to Bookends by Simon and Garfunkel and Pet Sounds by Beach Boys and any number of amazing albums by the Beatles and all their solo projects, not to mention Tchaikovsky and Elvis Presley. And we had the whole lot. We had access all the time to his record player. He didn't give us, the lecture about don't you touch that. So we felt very involved with music. And then, of course, later, when my career began, he co-wrote Kids in America with my brother Rick. Getting into the business was purely one of those luck things where Rick took some other demos up to London, touted them around, and met Mickey Most. And my introduction into the music industry was really through Ricky, because of his talent and because he had got Mickey Most really excited about working with Ricky.
Now, had Mickey Most, Mickey Most, legendary record producer, worked with the Animals, worked with Suzi Quatro.
Yeah, he discovered Suzi Quatro.
Yeah. Did Mickey hear Kids in America? Or was that before?
No, this is a good story. So what happened was Ricky turned up at RAC. Mickey Most was very interested in Ricky as a young 18-year-old. He could see...
Because Ricky was going to be the guy, wasn't he? He was going to be the next musician, not you.
Well, Ricky... at that point was doing demos locally around here near Hertford. I was doing backing vocals. And when Rick said he'd got a lot of interest from Mickey Most at Rat Records, I thought, right, I'm going to row myself in as a backing vocalist. And that's sort of all I really wanted to do. Yeah. I didn't have delusions of grandeur. I didn't fancy going in and being discovered which is what happened. But what I wanted was a job. I thought, well, I can sing. I know how to do harmonies. I would love that job. That's a great job. I'll have that job. So, when Rick got to RAC, I said, can I come and just hang around? So I did. And Mickey got Rick in to do some recording. Kids in America hadn't been written. When Mickey met me, he kind of, I think he just thought he just thought I looked like a proper old pop star.
But tell us the Kim Wilde he met. Did you look like the Kim Wilde that we know from Kids in America video?
Yeah, I just spent like a year at Foundation, Art Foundation in St Albans, and I just dyed my hair blonde. Kind of a combination of I wanted to have a mullet a bit like Linda McCartney, and I wanted to have blonde hair like Deborah Harry.
Right.
So I went to what was it called? Hair Now or something. It was one Wellingham City with those two pictures, a picture of Linda McCartney and Debbie Harry, and came out sort of looking very bright indeed, scaring the horses and everything. And then, and then I had my second-hand clothes on from the charity shop. So this was kind of that punky, funky look of mine, and walked in looking like that. And Mickey Most thought, wow, she looks like a great pop star. I think this could be really exciting. Can she sing? He asked Ricky, can she sing? It's like, what do you mean, can she sing? She's great. So at that point, Mickey Most, I think, kind of had me eyed me up, and had an idea to work with Nicky Chen and Mike Chapman, who at that point were writing all the hits for Susie and endless other artists, and Sweet, and also Smokey and Hot Chocolate, and a whole bunch of huge hits that they had written, especially for Susie. Though the brilliant ones for Susie. So that was Mickey's plan. I think he thought, great, let's get Kim in with the boys, and we'll get her off and running. And when he said that, Ricky thought, oh, no, you don't. She's my sister. If anyone's going to write a hit for my sister, it's going to be me. So he went home and he wrote Kids in America. And he recorded it in Hertfordshire. He recorded the whole thing down at Heath Lodge in Hertford with the Enid, who are the prog band, the Enid. Yeah. Chris North, their drummer, drummed on Kids in America. The rest of the instrumentation was done purely by Ricky. Yeah. He put down the whole backing track at Heath Lodge in Hertford, and then my dad went down, listened to it, and came up with the lyrics for Kids in America. I went in a few days later, did the vocals. We took it to Mickey, and the rest is history. So was that the demo, or was that what actually ended up on the record? It's what ended up on the record. It's really the one that was done in Hertfordshire. So the Kids in America was recorded here. Yes, it was. Look at that. And how about? It's one of the many reasons I love this place. Had you ever been to America at that stage? No. So you're singing We're the Kids in America. You'd never been to America. Yeah. And it kind of sounded better than We're the Kids in Hertfordshire. It was just one of those things. God, I can't tell you how many times I wished I had been American. It would have made things so much easier. Well, then your career then just took off. It was amazing. You hold the record for being the most charted British solo female act of the 80s with 17 UK top 40 hits. And this doesn't even include what you were doing in Europe, because in Germany and Scandinavia, they just out in Belgium, they absolutely loved you. Yeah. During that decade, how much pressure were you under to come up with the next hit? So much pressure. eventually it got to all of us, but for a long time, Ricky and Marty would be at home here in Hertfordshire songwriting, and I'd be off promoting. And because the success was worldwide, I didn't really stop. So I was living in a suitcase for pretty much the whole of the 80s, of that decade. I didn't stop. And when you're 20-something, you've got all that energy, and you don't have family, and you don't have responsibilities, and you're a pop star, and it's great, And, so I was just off, traveling the world, singing Kids in America, and the various other hits that Rick and Marty came up. They were under immense pressure. It was a challenge. Sometimes it was overwhelming, but for the most part, we managed to keep our heads above water. And then in '88, we sort of did it again with You Came and the Close album, and Never Trust a Stranger and Four Letter Word,
And your US number one was a cover, wasn't it? Keep Me Hanging On?
Yeah, and then Rick did an amazing, unique version of You Keep Me Hanging On.
Number one in America.
Yeah.
It's just the thing dreams are made of, isn't it? That would have been hard to believe, wouldn't it?
Well, it was. It was pretty amazing. But do you know what? I think I appreciate success more now than I did back then.
Yeah.
I was all a bit too young to really appreciate it.
Because you got to kind of a midlife crisis at about 30, didn't you, when you first moved? Was it when you first moved into a house up here?
Well, it was, because I was here on my own. I always thought by the time I was 30, I'd be married and, I'd have kids and stuff and move into a home with someone else. And I found myself moving into a lovely old 400-year-old barn, but on my own. And ultimately, a big old barn on your own it's a bit daunting when you're 30 years old. And so it was it's an incredible house to live in. I still live there, and I knew how lucky I was, and I felt so guilty about feeling so bad. But I was lonely, and I was I guess in many ways the seeds for getting out of the industry were sown when I moved back to Hertfordshire. I knew that life couldn't continue the way it had throughout the 80s. I knew something else had to happen, and I knew that probably that something else was getting out of the business. But that haunted me, because I thought, well, what does an unemployed pop star do? What am I going to do? I can't even type. Don't even know how to type. Can't be useful anywhere. I remember saying it to my best mate, Claire, what am I going to do? I can't do anything. And but I followed my passion, which had become gardening at that point, and the rest is history. You
did a bit of TV presenting as well.
I did. I kind of got roped into that, really. It wasn't something I was in search of. They found me at Capel Manor. They went looking for designers at Capel Manor.
Right.
And they name dropped furiously. They said, don't you know who's been here? And so I had them knocking on my door, and I said to them, I'm not ready for this. I've only just started learning. They said, you'll be fine. We'll give you all the support. You'll be great. And I suppose I was great in the way that I think I enabled a lot of people who thought they couldn't garden.
Yeah.
If Kim Wilde can do it, she can do it. I could certainly have a go. So if I did nothing but that, then I think I did a good thing.
So you look back now at the things you've done in your 37-year career. By the way, you'll be what, 58 in November?
It's all happening.
Does that frighten you?
No.
Okay. No, it's just a number?
Just a number.
When you look back, what is the highlight?
Of my life, I think meeting my husband, having a family. Yeah.
That tops meeting Michael Jackson and opening for him on a world tour?
Oh, yeah.
And David Bowie?
Yeah. It's close, that one, but yeah. It's close. Yeah, no, I mean, having a family. I mean, a lot of people in this industry don't manage to have that and want it. And I'm very blessed. I've got 2 great kids, 2 fabulous dogs. I live in the best county in the UK, and happy days.
Anyone listening right now that's thinking about making their way in show business, one piece of advice you'd have for them?
Follow your passion. If your passion is music, follow it. It'll always take you to a good place. It'll never let you down. That's what I would say. It might take you to an unexpected place. It might not take you to the place you want to go, but it'll always take you to a great place.
The new tour, it's your first UK tour in 30, because I know there's a European leg after that, but it's your first UK tour.
Yeah, and let me tell you also,
in 30 years, yeah.
We've got Lawrence Hill coming with us.
Lawrence!
So we have a Hertfordshire boy on our tour. It's pure Hertfordshire.
You probably saw him on TV. He was in that, he was in The Voice. Yeah, he was in The Voice. He did well on that.
He did. He got stitched up a bit.
I think so,
I don't much care for The Voice at all. I think it was disgraceful. Anyway, moving on. I think, Lawrence Hill has been writing some great new songs, and he's going to be showcasing them on the tour with me, up and down the country, and he'll be our support.
Tell us about your
special guest, rather.
Tell us about the show then. If someone comes to see Kim Wilde on this new tour, a lot of the dates are actually, a lot are sold out. A lot of people are going to miss out. But the ones that are lucky enough to get tickets, if there are still some available, wherever they see you in the UK, what are they going to see from Kim Wilde this time round? Okay,
well, don't expect to come and get too cozy, okay? We've got 2 drummers and they make a lot of noise. So that's that for starters. We're going to sandwich our old hits in between some selected tracks from the new album, Here Come the Aliens. My niece is going to be there, the one who's created all this beautiful artwork for the project. Ricky Wilde obviously is going to be there. There's 8 of us on stage. The alien theme, I can't pretend we're not embracing the alien theme. And for the first time, I've enlisted a costume designer for me, which is really good fun because I've never really gone down that costume route. I've always just like put on the black jeans and the leather jacket and got on with things. But I decided that with an album called Here Come the Aliens, that would be churlish of me to throw away the opportunity to really go a bit theatrical on this. So yeah, I have a selection of very I think they'll put a smile on people's faces. I wouldn't call them sexy exactly. They're kind of more like Lara Croft meets Transformers meets my son's Transformer. Actually, it looks very like a robot he had in his garden.
This is a long way from the stripy t-shirt and the black jacket then.
Yeah, this isn't stripy t-shirts. This is a bit robotic and a little bit like my kids' toys that I remember. Anyway, we're going to have fun with silver and it's going to be lots of Swarovski crystals. I'm going to glow. I'm on fire. Oh, please. I just hope those aliens don't get really excited and take me away. I just really hope they don't come and take me away.
Fantastic. All the best with the new album. Here Come the Aliens and the tour. Kim Wilde.
Hey, thanks, Graham.